Alright guys, just San here, back for another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and in today's video we're going to be checking out the Dokkan Festival Super Ss4 Gogeta. Now at this point, this guy is about 2.5 years old, I'm pretty sure, so I think doing a showcase on this guy would be pretty interesting, because he is a lot better than a lot of the other Dokkan Fests that released around his time period. He has a lot of things built into his kit that just make him somewhat good even by today's standards. More specifically, he has the 50% chance to evade enemies' super attacks, which is extremely useful because enemies are hitting very, very hard nowadays. So the fact that he has a 50% chance to take no damage from that and actually do damage back is really useful. But of course, I mean, we're talking about him getting an easy A, so he still has room to improve, right? So, yeah, but before we get into the video, just make sure you guys like and subscribe. Keep in mind there are timestamps in the video, so if you guys want to skip around to the Cell Max test or the unit breakdown, absolutely feel free to do that. And yeah, let's just get right into it. So starting off right here on this first rotation, we're going to have 6 out of 7 links active, so we're only missing Over and a Flash, which I believe is just 7% attack, so I mean, it's not really that big of a deal. And we've got support from the Go Tanks, and we are at 227k start of turn defense. So an issue with this guy is his start of turn defensive stat. That is very low. He does get a defensive buff on his super attack effect. More specifically, he gets 50% defense on super attack, but I don't know if that's enough to really make his levels of defense actually good. Because after this first super right here, we're going to be at like, what, a little over 300k defense, which just isn't really all that. If we double super, we could start to approach like 400k, well, we would be a little over 400k defense. And that's not bad. I don't know, that's not necessarily good either. 400k defense just in and of itself sucks, but considering he has that 50% chance to evade enemy super attack, that is somewhat useful, because as long as you're getting lucky with evading enemy super attacks and not taking that many normals, you might even be able to run this guy in some difficult defense type advantage. But anyway, right there we were a little over a 5 million attack stat, which might not really seem like the craziest number to you, but you do have to keep in mind he is super effective against all types for the first 8 turns. And that's pretty good. I mean, being super effective against all types can make it to where you do some really solid damage, especially because this guy has the counters. So if you get like a counter and then you double super, between all 3 of those attacks being super effective against all types, you could really start to rack in damage. But he doesn't have any built-in additionals, so if you do get an additional, it's just what you get from your hidden potential system, which I do recommend you go full additionals with him, just to capitalize on the 50% defense he gets on his super attack effect. And of course, once you start double supering, then your defense starts to look a little bit better. I don't know if it's going to get to crazy levels, like I think we were talking about on the last rotation. If he double supered, he would have only been at like 400k defense, which still isn't really that crazy, but I mean, you know, getting to these higher defensive levels is obviously better, especially considering he has the 50% chance to evade enemy super attack. And yeah, just overall, if you have the right turn for him in the right rotation, he could look pretty impressive now, but that's only if you have the right stuff. So right here, we lost all support, and we're at 195k defense start of turn. Not really that good. Actually, that kind of sucks because we're not even going to be at 300k defense after we super, and that's after we super. So these attacks in slot 1, I mean, we're fine right here, but if we ran them in like a difficult event, so when we take him versus Cell Max, we can't put him in slot 1, because Cell Max would just do like 300k per normal before this guy supers. So, yeah, not really the craziest defensive stat, but we did do 2.7 million damage right there, which is pretty good. I mean, we had type disadvantage, and we still did some pretty solid damage. But, of course, that is because he's super effective against all types, which I think after the 8th turn, unfortunately, that does drop to a 50% chance to become super effective against all types. So, after the 8th turn, you might not see it as consistently, but he does still have that high chance to be super effective against all types. So, I mean, you still got the coin flip to see it. But it's not going to be as consistent as it is for the first 8 turns, because of course it's just not guaranteed, which, I mean, I don't really think this guy's going to be doing that much damage without the super effective against all types, because sure, a 5 million attack that is, I mean, I guess that's alright, but that's not that much damage. Like, just that in and of itself isn't really that crazy. It's kind of mid, so you need the super effective against all types to do good damage. And if you're not getting that, then for sure his damage can be a little bit lacking. But, I mean, I guess, again, that all just depends on your RNG, because if you keep on getting the super effective against all types, even after the 8th turn, then he'll still do some pretty good damage. And if you're double supering and getting the super attack counters off, then, yeah, there's a lot of damage you could be doing with this guy. But anyway, right here, I did actually bring the Goku and Vegeta to get the Scouter, so I know where to put the Gogeta to get the super attack counter off, because I do want to get that animation in the video, just to see how much damage it can do and see how good it's looking. I love this animation, man. This is this has got to be one of the better aging animations. I mean, say what you want about this unit, he's aged for sure, but I mean, dude, his animations are so clean, especially this guy's 12 key. Yeah, he's got some crazy animations. But anyway, we're getting supered in slot 1, but it's after we super attack, so this is perfect. So then we can have the 50% attack raise after we get our super, and we could just maximize our damage. So right here, start of turn, we are at, yeah, 195k. All right, yeah, so not really that good. If you want to get to some good defensive levels with this guy, it seems like you really are going to have support on the rotation, which isn't that difficult, because he's on some crazy teams, of course, because he's a Gogeta. So there are a lot of support options, but just in terms of his levels of like defense and attack by himself, not really the craziest. Okay, so we got the counter right there. I was a little nervous we weren't going to get it. So we did a little over 1 million attack stat, and then, or we had a little bit over 1 million attack stat, and we did, what was that, 1.7 million damage right there. So yeah, I mean, that's all right. That's not like insane. I guess, considering we did the super attack as well. I mean, yeah, we got to some pretty solid levels of damage right there. So, all right, well, what we're going to do is we're going to, or actually, wait, no, I was going to call it in this event, but I want to showcase his active skill really quick. Because this guy's active skill, not this guy, but the Dokkan Fest Gogeta, he's got a really solid active skill. I believe it gives him 40% attack and defense for 1 turn, which is a pretty big buff. So, I mean, that'll exponentially increase his damage, his just attack stat, and all that. So I do really want to showcase that. And I think we're going to have that on the next rotation. He has to receive 4 attacks to get the active skill, which is a really easy condition. That's pretty much just like put him in slot 2 or 3, make him receive 4 attacks, then bam, you're good. Which, well, actually, you know what? Maybe that can be kind of difficult, because I was saying earlier in the video how if you're running this guy in difficult events, you want to put him in the slot that takes the least amount of attacks. And if he's evading the enemy's super attack, that doesn't count as him receiving an attack. So actually, if you get lucky with this guy, you'll probably have a more difficult time to get that active skill. But if you're running him in an easy event like this, or a Super Battle Road stage, not Extreme Super Battle Road, but just a normal Super Battle Road stage, then that active skill will be very consistent and easy to get. And of course, the effect is really good. As I said, it's a 40% attack and defensive increase. So, of course, his defense and attack will just go up. And as long as you're still super effective against all types, which we are going to be on this next rotation, then he's going to be looking really good. Okay, so we can get this right here. Another thing I do want to mention before we, well, just before I forget, is this guy does actually lose, I think it's 40% attack and defense. Yeah, he loses 40% attack and defense after the 8th turn as well. So his stats are going to drop off a good amount after that. But anyway, let's go ahead and pop this and see how, well, wait, let me make sure I have this skip off. Okay, yeah, I do. So yeah, let's go ahead and pop this and see how good this is looking. Okay, I mean, pretty simple, pretty straightforward, nothing too crazy. But wow, okay. So our defense jumps up to 300k. That is a very big increase. Yeah, that's going to make it to where after we super, we're going to be over 450k defense. That is pretty impressive, because then if we double super, we are going to be around 600k defense. And 600k defense on this guy, considering his age, considering he has the 50% chance to evade enemy super attack, and we're doing a 7 million attack stat that's super effective against all types, that's pretty impressive. Actually, that is really crazy. This is a really good rotation right here. All right. If you're getting rotations like this, which of course this was his active skill rotation, but if you are getting rotations like this, then yeah, this guy is going to be looking very impressive. So what we'll do is, actually, you know what? Let's showcase the next rotation just to see how much his stats really drop off, because of course he is going to lose that 40% attack and defense on the next turn, and then we'll cut to the Cell Max test after that and see how good he's performing in there, because I don't really think he's going to perform that well. I don't think he would manage to take double digits from Cell Max. Maybe if we get the active skill, but without the active skill, I think we're probably just going to get utterly destroyed, especially if we're getting supered and we're not evading it. which I hope we get supered and don't evade it, because I'd like to see how much damage he takes from that. I would assume it would just be a one-shot, but we'd have to wait and see. Oh, so this is the 12 key animation that I was talking about. This is just so clean. It's a shame you rarely see this. Yeah, I love that animation. This Gogeta, like, Dokkan has been nailing it with animations for like years now. I mean, I know every now and then they kind of have a hiccup, like the Resurrection of Blues, the Dokkan Fest. They don't have the craziest animations, but for the main standout LRs and stuff, Dokkan has just been killing it with animations. So, all right, right here we are at, yeah, 200k defense, so a little bit of a drop-off. We do still have support from the Gotenks, of course, so, I mean, it kind of levels it out to where we didn't have that much of a drop-off. But without the support, we would have been well under 200k defense. So, unfortunately, not really the craziest right there. Yeah, and then, as you can see, when we lose Fuse Fighter, our defense does drop a little right there as well. So, yeah, we'll do this. We'll just throw him in slot 1. Maybe we can get another super attack counter off. And then, after this, we'll cut to the Cell Max test. So, yeah, let's see how much damage he's doing right here. Because we did lose out on the stats. 40k per normal. And a 4.4 million attack stat. That's not really that good, because this might not be super effective against all types. I mean, I guess we'll see right here. Yeah, it was not. So that attack stat really was not that good. But we did get the counter for 1 million damage. All right, I mean, yeah, I guess that's pretty useful. I mean, we still have the counter. I guess that is one good thing about this guy, is this counter, it doesn't wear off or anything. He just keeps it throughout the fight, which is extremely useful, because obviously that's the one thing about this guy that helps him age. Or just age really well and just remain somewhat good even by today's standards, is the super attack counter. So I'm really happy they didn't put a restriction on that. It's only just a high chance to get it, and that's not really that difficult to get activated. So, all right, with all that shown, let's go ahead and cut to the Cell Max test and see how good he's performing in there. All right, so we are here fighting Cell Max, and I did have to switch up the team just a bit to make it more adequate for fighting Cell Max, just because, of course, this team is pretty good. I mean, we've got the new 7th year anniversary LRs. I brought the GT Vegeta on here, and then I brought the Easy A Vegeto. So a lot of better options compared to the previous team. But anyway, right here, we're going to have 3 out of 7 links, and we have no support. So this is a much more, I guess, realistic rotation, to where we don't have crazy support. We don't got a crazy amount of links active. But we do actually have the GT support memory. So just keep that in mind. I'm pretty sure we have a extra... I always forget. Is it 10%, 15%, or 20% buff? I'm pretty sure it's 15%. Or wait, can I check? Hang on, can I click on this? Okay, yeah, it's a 10% buff, okay. Because, like, I don't know, some support memories boost the category by, like, 10%, some do 15%, some do 20%. Okay, that caught me off guard. 150k per normal, and we got supered, and we did not evade it. So what we'll do is we'll hop back in and see how much damage he's taking after he supers, but that's kind of what I was talking about, of his start of turn defensive stat being too low, so... All right, let's go ahead and cut back to when we are back in the event. Okay, so we've got a bit of a better setup right here. We're going to take 2 attacks before we super, but hopefully none of them are a super attack. And we've got more links active as well, so just a little bit of a better rotation, I guess, for him. And hopefully, again, we don't get supered before we super, so we can see how much damage that we take after we do our super attack. Oh, first thing, okay, we countered it, but we did end up getting supered. So, I mean, yeah, I guess that goes to show, how much did we take on the previous rotation? Like 800k from that super. And right there, 50% chance came in, and we just took no damage. So, of course, that is extremely useful. And after the super, we are taking... Ooh, we double supered too. All right, so I'm expecting, like, double digits right here. Come on, Gogeta. You got the double super, the double 50% defensive raise, and we are taking... Okay, around 30k per normal, so not quite double digits. I guess I kind of overhyped him a little there, but still, around 30k with the double super is alright. I don't know. I wouldn't consider that necessarily really good, because that is the double super, and you're rarely going to get the double super off. So he's probably going to be taking closer to 50k per normal without it. But we did get the super attack evasion off right there, so that does go to show that if you manage to get that, you can you can get away from taking a lot of damage. I mean, as we saw in the previous rotation, if you don't get lucky with the super attack counter and where all the attacks are placed, yeah, you take a lot of damage. So I'm pretty sure we're dead right here anyway, but I mean, it's cool. We already got to showcase how much damage he was taking. So let's go ahead and cut to the unit breakdown. Okay, so here we have unrivaled superpower, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. So starting off with his leader skill, it is grade 8 power, category Ki +3, and then HP attack and defense plus 170%, or Shadow Dragon Saga category key plus 3, and then HP attack and defense plus 150%. So pretty good leader skill. Shadow Dragon Saga isn't really that crazy of a category, so I don't think you're going to be using this 150% lead most of the time anyway. But grade 8 power, it's a pretty good team, but we already have a 200% leader skill for it. So if you don't have the Dragon Ball superhero units, then this guy will be really useful. But if you already have them, you kind of already have a better lead. So yeah, there is that. His super attack effect is that he greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn, causes immense damage to enemy. And then on his passive, he gets attack and defense plus 200%, he gets ki plus 4, and then an additional attack and defense plus 40%, and attacks effective against all types for 8 turns from start of turn. He has a high chance of attacks being effective against all types, starting from the 9th turn, and then he has a high chance of evading enemies' super attack and then countering with tremendous power. So I mean, obviously the super attack counter is the main thing right there. I've already talked about his passive a lot, so I won't talk about it too much, but a couple things in here that are pretty good for sure. Yeah, so hopefully a lot of these can change with his Easy A though. And then his active skill is that he gets 40% attack and defense, and then he debuffs the enemies for 40% attack and defense. I don't think I mentioned this in the video, but this isn't really that useful outside of Super Battle Road anyway. So if you're in there, it's good, but if you're not, it's not really that big of a deal, because a lot of events just cancel you lowering the enemy's attack and defense. The condition for it is that you need to receive 4 attacks, so extremely easy to get. And his links are Super Saiyan, Kamehameha, Shocking Speed, Over in a Flash, GT, Fuse Fighter, and Fierce Battle, so a really good link set, especially with who you're running him with. His categories are Grade 8 Power, Fusion, Shadow Dragon Saga, Kamehameha, Last Resort, which is just final trump card, GT Heroes, Time Limit, High Speed Battle, which is just Accelerated Battle, Fate Induced Battle, which is just Battle of Fate, Fuse Fighters, and then Power Beyond Super Saiyan. So I mean, pretty good overall. I would say this guy is one of the better aging units that released in his time period again, but hopefully we can see him Easy A, because I think this guy could be a busted Easy A. So yeah, that has been the video. Let me know what you guys think of this guy down in the comments, and yeah, I'll catch y'all in the next one.